There we go. Hi, folks. Another edition of DM56. So welcome back. Let's start with a call for questions, general or specific questions so far. Anybody have any questions on stuff that we've talked about?
I had a question yesterday towards the end that I didn't get a chance to ask you, and I don't know if you have time for it, but it was about...
Let's answer it now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about a featured image, and I have a featured image on each page that's kind of in place of a banner, and I have it turned on my blog page, but it doesn't show, and I keep trying to figure out how to make it show, and I can't figure it out, and I don't know where to find it in the code anywhere. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's take a look at that. So first off, when a theme calls something a featured image, that usually means it's the banner image.
Right, okay.
Now, some themes by default will show the banner image or the feature image, whatever they call it, on all pages. Other themes may only have certain kinds of pages that the banner image will show up on. So it may not be that you're doing anything wrong. It may be just that's a function of how that particular theme chooses to display it. Sometimes there'll be a way to turn that on and off, and sometimes not, in terms of whether or not it shows on the home page or other pages. Usually it's about the home page, but every theme is different. So your theme may have some, we have to take a look at your theme and kind of dive into it a little bit.
And it doesn't tell you that you can turn on the featured image for like globally or anything like that. You have to do it individually on each page. So I'm actually having a slight variation on each page, which is fine.
Okay, well, if it's okay with you, why don't you share your screen?
Okay.
And go into your site or your dashboard. Well, let's look at your site first, and then we'll dig into the theme and we'll find out what we can do with it.
Okay. Let me just see.
And happy May Day, everybody.
Yay.
Thank you.
I took my May Day background off, didn't I? Okay. I was in meetings earlier today, and I have a few May Day backgrounds that I grabbed. I always like to have topical backgrounds. Okay, here's your dashboard.
Okay, that's good that you can see it.
So why don't you go to your...
So I guess I could just show you individual.
Debbie, before we get into the dashboard, why don't we just look at your couple of pages on the site so we can...
Your pictures, your May Day pictures color now.
Yeah, I have a couple different ones.
Uh-huh.
I like the black and white one. We'll go with the old one. Yeah, it's cute. It's classic.
So you want to look at the site? To see
yeah. Let's look at your home page and then a couple other pages so we can see what the featured or banner image looks like.
Uh-huh. Well, I have it on a separate in a different browser without being logged in. Do you want to see it like that, or do you want to see it within the admin?
No, I just want to see what the public would see. Okay, so we got that.
This is what the public sees.
That's your home page, and now how does the banner look?
Oh no, actually, that's the page I was working on. This is my home page.
Okay, so it's got the same banner image.
The featured image is a trip to Las Vegas banner.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the left side, I'll have a slightly different picture on each page, which I'm still working on. Concert doesn't have anything yet. Animals has this. And
so that image at the top, it looks like the theme allows you to either display it or not display it on each page. Is that true?
Yeah, well, in the dashboard, I can show you when we get to that, but there's a place in the dashboard where you can turn it on or not turn it on. And then hotels and food is not ready yet. The thoughts page is the one where it is not showing, even though, okay, if I look at it in my authoring environment, it's on the right side down here. It says featured image, and I have a version of it, an earlier version of it here, and it's showing that it's gonna be there, but it doesn't show.
Is that in sidebars? Look up at the top. It's there's
Well,
a sidebar thing.
Yeah,
So-
it's not, I wouldn't
No,
interpret
it's
that
not
as-
in the sidebar. It's not part of the sidebar.
Yeah, but go up to where, go keep going up, scroll up more. Keep scrolling up. Okay, so it doesn't have, like mine has different options of where you are on that thing.
Right, all the
Well,
themes
mine
are
has
different.
different options about sidebars too, but there's somewhere else in customization where I customized to have just specific things in the sidebar and not a generic thing. So I actually put some widgets in the sidebar, but I finally figured out what a widget was and put what I
Okay,
wanted.
now, first of all, when you go back to where you say it's showing that it should show, I'm not necessarily seeing that. It's telling you what the featured image is, but it's not necessarily saying it's going to display on the page.
Well, I put it in there. I put that in there.
And it says remove, what's this remove featured image? Does that go away then? Okay, so now what if you set featured image again? Let's just try setting it again.
Okay.
Now, how come it's showing transparent in the middle there in that little?
Because that was an earlier interface that I had where I had little pictures that were changing. I think it was one of those things from a DM56 class or something like that with the random image changer.
Okay.
So that was, anyway, I had that in there and I used it in, I'm actually revamping this site from a long time ago because I think it's very conducive to
what would happen if
a blog kind of
the content to default over, see how it's got a whole bunch of different
Yeah,
settings?
that was my next question. If you scroll back down a little, you see where it says default under page builder container, and you have content, no sidebars. What happens if you click default?
Click default. Nope. Yeah.
Choose
Okay.
your page. I never even looked at this.
So then go up and publish
let's
this and
see.
see what happens.
Okay, and now publish. Save your changes. Now let's take a look. Yeah. Wait, you didn't publish it yet, did you?
Yeah, I updated it.
You did. Okay.
It's still not showing.
Okay, so let's go back to your dashboard. Let's go to your. Let's see. Go to appearance.
I preview this.
Oh.
The thoughts page.
Now, is that your only blog page?
Yes.
Okay, so it may be, okay, so my first guess, without knowing anything yet about the theme, it may be that the theme simply doesn't display the banner on blog pages.
Right. I mean, that's what I was thinking, but it's still frustrating. I would still love
here, a quick test, Debbie. Create a second blog page. Just create one and publish it, and let's see if it also doesn't have the picture. My guess is it won't.
Huh.
Just a guess, but again, this is part of my troubleshooting operation. Let's on the theory that blog pages in this theme do not by default show that image. Not a new page, a new post, because that was a blog page that didn't show, right? So not a new page, a new post. So cancel this. Actually, you can just click on posts in the left-hand menu.
Yeah, I don't know where I cancel it. I'll look for it.
No. Just go up to posts. Up, stop. Yeah. Go to add new.
I think this theme adds new posts to the same page. At least that's what it was doing before.
So yeah, so you can add a new post page though.
Well, let me see.
Well, you already have two. Let's see.
I have two, but they're both on the same page, which was one of the reasons why I like this theme. But
this theme puts them all on the same page. Ah, so it really does treat blog posts very differently, doesn't it?
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, most themes don't do it that way. That's interesting.
This is the same problem that I was having with my blog too.
Ah, let's take a look then.
This is what I was trying to describe yesterday.
Put that image in there before you publish it.
Yeah,
know,
go back.
I think I tried that also, and when I tried it, it
Yeah,
put
go
it
back and
below
let's
the title.
take a look.
What?
Yeah, let's take a look at the options that this theme gives you here. Under format, let's see, standard, aside, image. What's image under format? What does that do? Okay, now preview it. I just don't know this theme. We have to play with this a little bit to see what it does.
Huh. Well, and that's interesting that it
All
says
these
video
themes have
because
different
I want.
options. Yeah,
It's
they all have.
interesting that it says video because I want to show some videos on my site, and I didn't know if I could.
Okay, click
okay,
preview
yeah.
so we can see it. Okay, well, that theory didn't work.
Debbie,
All
you
right.
added the image? Debbie, did you add the image?
No, not yet. I guess I could add an image and see
Add
what
the image and see if it works.
Yeah,
Go down
can
to
you
the bottom.
scroll? Can you scroll down? I want to see all the options on the right-hand side. I don't know what they are. What else do we have down here? Tags, layout, form.
Go down and add the background image. See if it shows up.
Yeah. let's
Set
see.
the featured
Oh,
image.
set featured image. There it is, down at the bottom. Down
You
at the
didn't
bottom.
set it.
Set featured image. Let's just try this. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else that we need to do on this? Let's see.
And you have image still checked up higher?
Yes.
Okay.
Give it a try.
Update.
Let's update. Yeah, and then let's take a look at it. Or publish.
Yeah, I don't know why sometimes it says publish and sometimes it says update. But
Because you didn't really make any content changes.
Yay!
Ah, there you go.
But is that what? But it's part of the post. But at least it's there.
Well, it's on your new post. It's at the top of your new post page. Yeah.
So wait a second here.
So now, can you do the same thing on
Oh,
your?
and now it's on the blog page. Now it is on
Exactly.
the blog page. Maybe I could just.
Isn't that what you wanted?
Yeah, but I didn't want it under the title that says new post. I wanted it above.
Ah.
Like on the other pages, it's above all the content. You can even
Yeah.
see there's
Well,
a-
my first guess is that that's the way this theme wants to run.
right. Okay.
That's the way this theme rolls. That doesn't mean you can't put it up there. I'm just trying to think about this template.
Yeah, I might just do that just for the identity thing because I made the above the menus. There was an area where it said the identity. It said a trip to Las Vegas, the pictorial journal, because that's what I had, and I just thought it was redundant. So
okay.
I even used some CSS to take out the space on the top.
Aren't you tricky?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah, I can see, yeah. I think that's the way this theme rolls.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean we can't do some serious tweaking, but that would be some serious tweaking if that's what the theme wants to do. Do you get any options on the blog templates on this theme? Does it give you an option? We haven't really looked at all the under theme appearance. Let's go take a look at, let's look at customize. I'm not sure what the theme allows you to change, so let's.
I don't think I saw anything about.
Sometimes it's here. Let's see.
Changing blog.
What's under layout? What's under blog?
Oh, under blog.
More options are available in our premium version.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, there's just content type full or excerpt, and I wanted.
Debbie, what was header? Go back and look at the header options.
Yeah.
I did look at that. I did look at the header options, and I found that I could actually. I don't know where I saw it. I found that I actually could have an image at the top in the header area, but it didn't say what the size was supposed to be, and I never did figure out the size yet. So I figured I would just do it the way I was doing it.
Oh, somebody's got a loud kitty.
That's my kitty.
That cat wants some food.
He wants attention. He's ate so
Uh-huh.
much today. He's eaten a lot today already. He just hears me talking and doesn't, he wants to play with whoever's talking, I guess.
Yeah, I don't see an easy way to do this in this theme.
It's okay. It's all right. I mean, thanks for looking for me.
These are the places you would look. You would go under theme appearance, look at all the customization options, especially for blog pages. You could also, when you're adding a new blog page, do you get any options for different blog templates, or is it just the one?
I don't think I get any different things. And like I said, I don't think it adds doesn't look like it adds different pages. It just adds more posts
Yeah.
to the same. I mean, I could try adding another page and make it a blog page rather than
No, nah, that's not going to do it.
rather than a static page.
No, you
Oh,
don't want to try that. That's not going to work.
huh.
No, WordPress doesn't like it when you try to do that. And if you do convert it, it'll just be the same behavior. I don't have an easy fix. That would be going into editing the template itself.
Isn't that kind of the drawback of the whole thing? You have
That's the
to,
drawback of this theme. Yeah.
or well, of all the themes, because each theme has the thing you want to change, but you can't unless you upgrade.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right, Rebecca. There's a trade-off. Philosophically, there's always a trade-off between ease of use and power to do what you want. And the easier something is to use, usually the less you can go in and tweak things to make it exactly what you want. And usually the more power you have to do all this tweaking customization, the less easy it is to use. So there's always a trade-off. And WordPress's trade-off is generally they want to make it easy to use. So the thinking is you want to find a theme that's close to what you want to do, rather than try to shoehorn something into a theme that's not meant for it. But your observation is entirely correct. That is a trade-off, and that is in a sense a disadvantage in some cases.
Yeah, the theme that I've been using for years created a paid version, and the things that I used to be able to do with it, I can no longer
don't
do.
you hate that?
And I actually had to pay for it. I paid for it for a year to do the things I needed to get done, and then I let it lapse, and that's okay for that site, but yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. So this would be an example of maybe trying to, if you're really attached to the theme, and you're really attached to having that blog page be different, creating a child theme and going in and actually changing it so that image does appear up there. You may be able to do that without creating a child theme, but again, you'd have to be careful.
Wow.
We would have to kind of go through the CSS and the HTML and see what's add whatever code is on the other template to the. It's not simple, but you, Debbie, could probably do it because you know coding. But mere mortals could not do that. I would, yeah.
What is
Well, also I had,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I have a question. What is add foo gallery? Is that adding pictures? Is that faux gallery? Is that what that's trying to say?
oh, that's the
yeah.
gallery. That's a plugin that I added. It's a gallery plug. Foo Gallery is a gallery plugin that I created. I mean that I downloaded and I used on another page. So I guess it's suggesting that I add that gallery to this post or this page.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. Frequently, when you add a plugin, it will then modify certain pages like your editing page here so that it's very easy to use that plugin on a page. And apparently the Foo Gallery plugin does that automatically when you install the plugin. And if you uninstall the plugin, it'll go away. You won't see that button.
I found out that these image gallery things kind of work one or two ways. One of them is it gives you an option when you're in a block to choose it. The other one, it gives you this code that you have to plug in on that page or that section.
Yeah, that's not uncommon. And when we look at the form plugin today, it's going to be a little block of code. But there are other ways to do it too. So sometimes it'll give you options to do either way.
That's nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's good. I
Hey.
think I already have a form plugin that came with my theme.
Yeah, well, the WP Forms comes with basically the basic installation. So, and that's what we're going to use today. Yeah, that one. So, but before we go there, let me ask for, so Debbie, I think we're going to stop it at that.
Yeah,
And,
that's fine. I don't know what, oh yeah, so I'll stop sharing. Okay, thank you. It's good to check it out with everyone else.
let's take some other questions. How are other people doing? You got questions on your theme, or Amanda, you had a similar question?
Yeah, that was the same thing I was running into yesterday when I asked about it. I was trying to describe it.
you wanna-
So I'm
do
glad
you
we
wanna-
went over it.
Do we want to take a look at your theme? Is it similar? Do you?
Yeah, it looks like it's the same problem where the blog page, for whatever reason, is just kind of fixed, but everything
different
else, 'cause my
template,
page
yeah.
looks exactly like Debbie's does.
Yeah,
So-
it's the blog. In this case, the theme has a blog template that's slightly different from a page template.
Yeah, and I was going to
That's-
do the thing with create a new page, but if you said that's futile, then because I was able to do that for my homepage, because I had to create a new homepage because my
Okay.
blog page was my homepage. So
Yeah.
I redirected that. So there's a way in my theme to set my new homepage. Like I created the page and then had to tell it it was the new page, and then had to tell it was my blog page. So I thought I could create a new page.
Well, okay, so what the theme, okay, so some themes default to the homepage being your blog, your basic blog page.
Mhm.
Some themes will default to the homepage being your blog, and then every time you add a post to your blog, that goes to the top of the homepage. Some themes have a static regular page as the default homepage. Some themes will allow you to toggle between the two, and they'll say,
Yeah.
oh, set the blog page your homepage, set a page to be your homepage.
Yeah, that's what I had to do too, was set a static page and then redirect the homepage to that.
Right, but what that's not doing is that's not making a static page into a blog page. That's just a redirection of your homepage. See what I'm saying? There's a difference.
I think so.
In other words, if a page has comments on it or allows comments, it is a blog page.
Right.
That's an essential difference.
That's
So,
the issue I'm having. I want that static page to have a black background to match my home page, and it's driving me crazy that it's white.
does the theme give you the option of changing that?
Not that I can find anywhere.
Do you want to share your screen and we can take a quick look? Because
Sure.
we can look at exactly where, I can tell you where it would be some of the places we just looked at with Debbie's. I can show you where the theme should or shouldn't give you that information.
Yeah, mine was in photos, colors, and then adding a photo.
Ah, okay.
It was
So
like
your
in a
theme
weird
was different.
spot. Yeah.
Oh, let me here's my site. So see this page right here that I've set to be the page that's on my home page. I really hate that all of this is white. I want that page.
Ah. And
So,
okay, so is this a gallery plugin?
no.
This is actually just the page
Yeah,
without
so
a plugin.
we'll go to that page right now. So here is that page.
Okay.
And I've set that as the feature image. And there's the text, and that's all that's on that page.
Okay.
And that page doesn't link from my home page. It's not like a menu item. All it is that thing that's going to be part of my static homepage.
Okay.
But obnoxiously white.
Yeah. Okay. So
Through web
let's take a
development, I
look.
can find out
Let's
what.
take a look at your appearance, theme's appearance, and see what kind of customization options we have in there. Because background colors are usually in there. So if you go to your dashboard,
So that does not be that, but I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just try. Let's go into themes appearance, customize.
Oh, customize. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I see. There's a background. We can go to background too. Okay. So, colors.
Here's colors. It's under colors.
Uh-huh.
And it's right now set for black because
Right.
actually, it's not really black. It's kind of a blue. And what it's calling a background is this little thin line.
Right.
Because watch when I change it to red. That's
Oh,
background.
really? Oh, that's kind of interesting.
So,
I didn't expect that.
so this page is actually on that page And been given a class name of something weird. I
Okay,
forget
so
what it
let's
is.
try this. Let's get out of this, go back to appearance.
Oh,
You know,
but
you changed it to red. Okay.
I did. Oh, well, that's okay.
Go back to appearance and see where it says background? What does that do?
It takes you back to the same spot, I think, but here's colors. Oh, it didn't set it. Background.
What's a
Okay,
background?
background image. Let's go back to.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Go to background image. Would that be for the, I'm not sure what it's going to be background of, if it's the whole section or not.
Not
You
sure
could,
what
okay, you could try a test and make a Photoshop tile that's just a black dot, and then set that as a background image and see if it makes if it does what you want. It probably won't, but that would be worth a shot.
Okay, I can show you where the
What's under theme options? See, we
where
got
are
to look at all these places. Scroll down. I want to theme options and additional CSS we want to look at.
additional CSS is just where I could add some CSS.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What's
and then
theme options?
theme options is, and layout options, there's nothing in there
Okay.
that's useful.
Yeah, nothing about background. Nothing about background colors. Okay.
Telling me to default to that page.
Okay. What if we go to the actual page?
And I can tell you that actual page in the CSS is given a whole totally different name. So let me try and navigate to that page.
Yeah, let's just go to the actual page and take a look at some options.
Let's get out of here.
But this is what you do. I mean, you go to these different places and see what the theme allows you to do easily.
So let's visit site and then customize, because I have to get to that page.
Right.
And now, there we go. And I have to scroll down, so I have an option button. So it should have an edit button down here. To edit that page. I guess I'm going to have to go through it through pages.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get through it from the home page, sometimes you can't. So let's go. Okay, so where's my dashboard? And see, it's telling you it's the front page. Okay, so what I did do to find out what this page is called, I went up into my browser tools and came down to web developer tools. And it gave me the CSS block.
Exactly.
And it's down further because it's called body.editor page, and it's white.
I
Says
see.
I can change this here in the browser window to black,
Mm-hmm.
and then it changes to black, but it won't publish it black.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Because you're just in a view the source code kind of.
right. I'm just in the developer tool on the browser.
Yeah, that's not going to stick. Yeah.
This is what it's called right here. It's called, this is the name of where I
Yeah.
am. And that's the CSS that needs to be black instead of white.
Okay, so what you can do is you can copy that. You can copy that code,
Okay.
and then do a search for it in the whole CSS file and edit it.
So
Actually, just copy where the line that says body.block-editor.
load styles. I wonder if I change it, and I've never clicked this button of loading the style.
That's not going to edit the style. And
Well,
save
if you copied it and pasted it into custom CSS with the
well,
change,
that's what I'm saying.
and
Yeah, so
then you just put an important statement next to it or something to make it.
that's exactly right. Or you don't even usually have to use an important statement. If you put it at the very end, it should just overrule it.
Well, let me just go to.
So did you copy that block of code?
I did. Now I'm trying to navigate to
Okay, so now go to your dash. You're in your dash. Scroll down.
Wait a minute, I was not in my dash. I was here. Okay, so
Go to your dashboard. Okay, we're going to do a manual tweak.
Okay. So where's my dashboard?
Yeah, you're not still, you go to your main dash, get rid of this, yeah, just go to your dashboard.
Have I forgotten? Visit site. Dashboard.
You can get rid of the coding thing on the right.
Oh, I have trouble using this laptop. Oh, then maybe that's the
Just
coding
hit the X, see the X over on the right, up? Yeah, right there, get rid of that.
The Zoom window is on top of
There
it.
you go, thanks. Okay, now go to Appearance, and at the bottom where it says Theme Editor,
Okay.
this is the warning you'll get. Now you'll get a warning you can screw up your site.
Well, I've already.
Oh no, usually it pops up a warning here, but anyway, scroll down to the very, 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 very bottom. Just grab your scroll bar and drag it down. It's going to take forever.
This.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, this laptop keeps doing that.
Go back to Appearance, go down to Theme Editor, the bottom.
Sorry, it blinks back and forth really badly. It's a problem with my laptop.
Okay. Appearance, Theme Editor.
It's the computer's having issues right at the moment.
Well,
Sorry.
here's what you want to go to Appearance, Theme Editor. You want to go to the very bottom of the CSS file and paste that block of code that you have and then edit it.
It's being really fussy.
Whoa, your
Okay.
Theme Editor. Now,
Okay.
scroll all the way to the bottom. There's a little scroll bar. Oh, what happened?
They just did the same thing again.
Okay. We may have to do this later because I want to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll have to do it on my regular computer.
Okay, so well, let me tell you what you want to do. You probably already know. You want to go to Theme Editor. You want to scroll to the very bottom of that. Oops. You want to scroll to the very bottom of that long CSS file. You want to paste that code at the very bottom.
Okay.
In fact, you might as well put some caricatures in there, so it's obviously something you're adding at the very bottom. And then you want to change the FFF to 000 to make it black. You don't have to use an important statement because if you're just modifying that one, you can drag that scroll bar on the right all the way down.
Yeah, but that's when it zooms out on me.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sorry.
So now you just have to wait. Kerchunk, kerchunk,
Yeah.
kerchunk, kerchunk, kerchunk.
Because when I do that, then it vanishes off into a different window.
Yeah. Well, this should work.
Okay, so now here I add some spaces, right?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, carriage returns. Okay, now paste that in.
There you go.
Now change that F to FFF to 000, which will make it black. If in fact this is what's causing that. Now,
And then
if this doesn't work, you want to add an important statement. You don't have to add it. You could add an important statement right now, actually. So why don't you put space where the
Right.
cursor is, hit space. No, 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 before the semicolon. No, no,
right here?
no,
Okay.
before the semicolon. You were there, but you moved it. Right before the semicolon. Over
Right
to the right, over to the right, semicolon. Over to the right, over to the
Right
top,
here.
left,
Left, right.
before the semicolon. Right there, exactly. Yay! All right.
Yay,
Now,
okay.
now put exclamation point,
Okay.
exclamation point, and important. The word important. And for those folks who haven't had coding, this means you want this line of code to trump everything else. So,
Can I make color white just so that it's because now that the header's not going to show up either?
I didn't understand. What's your question?
Well, because the color on that page, the title is black type. It should have.
Well, yeah, now you're going to have a cascade of things you're going to have to change. That may be
that's the
true.
only other thing.
Let's do this. Here's John's advice. Always change only one thing at a time.
Okay, so we got that. Now, is there something that I
Actually, you see where it says line 3906?
Yeah.
Yeah, click there, put a slash, an asterisk, asterisk.
Asterisk is.
Number 8.
Date, yeah.
Thank you.
Star.
Yeah. And write Anne's changes. And then put a star and a slash, asterisk and a slash.
Right, so it's a comment.
So that's a comment so that if you're going to be editing this file, you want to make it clear that this is not part of the default file.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
also want to, by the way, you also want to keep a copy of your changes in another text file so that when you update the theme, you can put this back in.
Okay. So where do I do to set this, or is it automatically set?
You say update file. There's a button right there
Where?
at the very bottom. Update file. Right where you were.
There's
Big
no-
blue button. See it?
Oh, you know, the
Up to the right, down.
No,
Update file. Blue. Yay! Right there. Click on that. That will
It was on top of it. Your face was on top of that.
Oh, okay. So you edited the file successfully. So now if the change is what you want, you're done. If it's not, you have to keep tweaking.
So let's go back and see
Yeah.
if that
If
works.
in fact this was what was doing it, and
It
it's
didn't work.
not. That was
No.
not what they said. That's not where that style comes from. So there's something else that white is coming from,
Up there.
because that would have changed it. Okay,
This is
so you'll have to do a little
That's good,
detective work.
Okay.
That was a good demonstration, though.
But that's generally what you want to do if you want to do some minor tweaking.
Because that's really pretty minor.
Yeah, except that wasn't necessarily the place
Yeah,
where that white was coming from.
See if this changed a different page. No, it didn't. There's the about page. That seems to be fine. I just want to see if it changed another page, but doesn't seem to have done anything anywhere. Nothing.
Yeah, we'd have to actually dig deeper into the code again and find out where that white is actually coming from. So it wasn't where you thought it was coming from, because that would have changed it.
Because that's what I wanted to ask you, like after class or something, is
Actually, let's try this. Go into the edit of that page itself. We'll do one more thing.
okay. We're back to that page.
And now,
Let me move the Zoom window again. The Zoom window keeps being in the way.
oh yeah, I know when you're sharing your screen, it's really weird.
Yeah, because that's where it was on the update button. Why I couldn't see anything was that the Zoom window was there.
Right. So now, let's see. Click on the plus sign.
That's the block where you can put type. Now this, see, there's no way of changing the color of that.
No. But click on the block. Yeah, click there. We don't get an option in this editor for editing the HTML, do we? Let me just see.
Nope. There's something up at the top of some of these windows.
Sometimes you can get in the HTML.
Oh, here, select,
Mhm.
edit. No, that one doesn't. This one on oh, here. Does it, let me pull that down.
What
Yeah,
about if you get the cogs that has all the settings? The little
Yeah, that's what I'm
cog
looking for.
icon. It's in the top right corner next to update.
Right here.
Oh yeah, right there. I didn't see that.
But
No.
it
So if
does
you
go
go to-
down at the bottom. There isn't, let me move the Zoom window again.
I can't see it all, but
Yeah, I'm gonna move the Zoom window and get into block, which is.
Yeah.
well, actually, no. You want to be in document.
So now let me put this up so that this is out of the way. Page attributes. So I don't know
Yeah,
what,
it's not really going to give you.
so none of that stuff works. Visibility, none of that stuff works.
You don't have the old editor plugin, like the Gutenberg editor plugin, do you?
No, I can add that plug in and see if
Okay.
that'll help.
I'm just wondering if we can get to the HTML code just for this page, we might be able to tweak the background.
Yeah, so
Anyway.
maybe I could load the old editor and see if that'll help.
That might. But I'm gonna since it's already 3:40, Ann, I'm gonna move on because I want to go through a couple of things before we end.
Sure.
So
I mean,
why don't you
it's so
keep working on
specific.
this, and you can come back on Monday, and we'll take it up from there if we can.
Okay.
So okay, you folks all seeing? Let me see. I'm gonna share my screen now. Alrighty. This is actually a pretty quick and easy thing that I've set up for you to do, and I want you to basically just set up a form. This is really not going to take you a long time. It's not meant to, because I want you to start working on a project after this last exercise. So this is just to walk you through setting up a form with the plugin that is already installed, so you don't have to install it. Student sites, demo. Okay, so I'm just going to walk through this. Now, if we go to my dashboard, all right, so first off, and I went through this before, but it's important now if you haven't already done this to change your admin email address. So what I'm going to do here is these first steps, okay? So what I want you to do, if you haven't already done this, you need to make the admin email address your address so that when you activate the form, the replies to the people that enter the information in the form, so that that information gets sent to your email address and not mine. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that that already has happened. So as it says here, you want to go to settings and then general. In other words, in the main dashboard area, you want to find settings, and under settings, you want to go to general. And these are, of course, the general settings for your entire WordPress installation. So it's kind of an important little section. And by the way, the site title and the tagline, you're going to want to change that to match your final project at some point. But we'll get into that later when we talk more about the final project. The important thing right now is this administrative email address, which by default probably said something like orders@earthdance.com, because when I set everybody's up account, I think that was the address that I set it up with. But you want to change that to be your email address. Okay, so that's important because anytime somebody fills out a form on your site, that's where the information is going to get emailed to by default. So, and other plugins will also use this address for a variety of reasons, depending on what the function of the plugin is. Also, WordPress will use this address to send notifications of updates or problems with plugins or whatever. So you want to make sure, if you haven't already, that you change this address to be your email address. So you just put your email address in there, and then you save the changes down here. Okay? Now, when you do that, WordPress will then send a confirmation message to this address that you set it to. The change does not take effect until after you confirm it by going to your email, clicking on the link, getting the message from WordPress, clicking on the link that confirms, yes, in fact, this is my email address. Then the change is in effect. But if you don't do that first, then the change doesn't happen. So you change this, you click Save Changes, then you go check your email, okay? You want to check your email. You will get a message from WordPress. It comes pretty instantly. And then you open up that message, you click on the link in that message, and then this change will take effect of your email. But if you don't do that, if you go back in here and look, your old email address will still be in there. So you need to do that first. Everybody clear on that? Okay. Hearing no confusion.
Yes.
We'll move on. Okay, so now I'm over at step little 5 here. So now we're going to go back to the dash, and we are going to go to WP Forms. Now, that should be, let's see, it should be here somewhere. Oh, there it is. You see this WP Forms here. Why is that there? Because WP Forms is a plugin. It's a very basic plugin that it was installed by default in a default WordPress installation. Okay, and so any new default WordPress installation will have WP Forms in there. There are hundreds of plugins you could choose to use to put a form on your site. This isn't necessarily the best one. It's a free one that comes with it, so we're going to use that. But you can use any WordPress plugin you want to do a form. There are lots of good ones, and there are lots of premium ones as well. And this plugin has a premium version, as you probably would have guessed, which is probably why they give you the free one, and they can encourage you to update. But you don't need to do that for the purpose of the exercise. I just want you to make a form. And if you have a more elaborate form plugin that you'd rather use, go ahead. But I'm giving you the bare bones easiest way to do it, just to do the exercise. So
for our final, where we get points for plugins, we could, we could get an extra plugin right here if we change this.
I wasn't thinking that the WP forms would be one of those because this is already installed.
But if we add a different one,
Yes, if you had a different one, exactly. Anything that's not a default installation, a plugin would be eligible for that. But if it already comes with your theme or with your installation of WordPress, and this comes with the installation of WordPress, then that doesn't satisfy a install a plugin option. Okay. So
I have a
now,
question, teacher.
yes, question.
I tried to fill out the other forms, the number 2 and the number 3, but I don't understand when I have to fill out a place that say URL. Which kind of
Okay, yes.
URL?
Yeah, the URL. I will go over that at the end of this because that's the last step. So hold,
Okay,
hold that
thank you.
thought. Hold that thought. I'm going to cover that. That's the very last. That's the last step when we submit the
Thank
PDF.
you.
So I deleted what I had there because by default yours is going to look like this. If you haven't already used the plugin, it's going to look just like this. It's going to say you haven't created a form yet. Do you want to give it a go? Right? So you're going to see this. Want to give it a go? And yes, you're going to click give it a go. And when you do that, then it will ask you what kind of form do you want to install. Now, in my exercise, I say to create a suggestion form, which is this one here. Quite frankly, a contact form would probably be more useful and more standard. The reason I want you to do a suggestion form is that many themes by default come with a contact form already. They don't usually come with a suggestion form. They usually come with a simple contact form. And so because your theme may already have a contact form, I didn't want you to add another contact form and confuse the hell out of things. So I'm saying use a suggestion form. If you want to use a newsletter sign up form or you want to make some other kind of form, that's fine. But if you want to just do it the easiest way that I suggest, then do a suggestion form. But the form doesn't really matter. I just don't want you to use a contact form because your theme may already have one. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I selected suggestion form. And now we get this nice little drag and drop interface where we can add new fields and everything. It's really fun. But I'm not asking you to do anything too hard. I'm asking you to just use the basic form, and it's going to give you a line of code, you'll see. So if you want to play with this and modify it, you can, but I'm not requiring that you do that. I'm just asking you to use the default form as the minimum. And again, you can play with this if you want to edit it. And since I haven't changed it, I don't need to save it. But if I did make changes, I would click save afterwards. But you can literally drag these fields where you want them. It's a drag and drop interface. It's a widget interface. It's very easy. But I'm not going to make any changes. I'm just going to say embed. Okay? So where I am at here is step number 8 in my directions. Okay? And it said, oh, there's a typo, that you can embed. Okay, so, oh, I didn't say to click on embed. Okay, but on step 8, click on embed. Sorry about that. So let me close that for a second. I'll modify the exercise. But what I wanted you to do is click on embed here. I forget that's missing from the exercise. That'll be in step 8. So it says you're going to want to embed, but it doesn't tell you to click on that button. Okay, so okay, sorry. Okay, so you're going to click on this embed button, and there's a line of code it gives you that you can simply copy. Now, by the way, you can click and watch on this little video. It's like 1 minute long. It's really cute. And it tells you another way to do this. But however you want to set up the form is fine, as long as the form functions. So in my directions, I just say to copy this line of code. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to close this window. But it's fun to watch the little video, but we're not going to do that right now. Now, I have that block of code copied to my clipboard. Now I'm going to go back to my dashboard. I am going to create a new page. So as it says here, go to pages and add a page. Not a blog post, a page. Pages, add new. And as it says here, make the page's title suggestion form. If you're using a different form, you could do something other than suggestion form. Okay. Now, I am going to, actually, you know what? I'm not even going to do a whole lot. I'm just going to paste that line of code right there. That's the very minimum. All I did is paste that line of code. We're just going to have a simple form page. If you want to embellish it, that's fine. But for the purpose of just getting through the exercise, which will take you all of 15 minutes, if you do it this way, because you can see I'm doing it, I'm just going to do that. And when you paste that line of code, and lots of plugins you may have already discovered work this way, where they give you a little block of code that you paste into the page. Wherever you paste that block of code, the plugin does its work. And in this case, the plugin will put a form. And I'm going to say publish. And I published my suggestion page. And now I'm going to test it. Now I'm going to go to the page. And here is a new page on my site. This is the default suggestion form. The little red asterisks mean that the fields are required. I believe all the fields are required. And if you try to submit it without, it'll say, they're all required. So I'm just going to test this. This is my address. So the person filling out the form will use their own address. Now, if you, this address is not where the information gets sent. This address is just the person filling out the form. Where this information, when I click submit, is going to get sent is to your admin email address, assuming you made the change properly. Blah, blah, subject, testy, message. This is a form, test. Submit. Alrighty, that worked. Now, if I go to my email, and I will bring up my, if I go to my email for John at Teacher John, I see that I haven't gotten it. Get mail. There it is. New entry, suggestion form. And there it is. That's where you clap. Yay, it worked. See how easy that was to use this form. Yay, I hear you all clapping. All right.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
So now to answer the question about the URL. So the last step is, and it says here, important when you submit the typo feedback form, make sure you enter the URL of the form page. Why is it important this time? It's important because I need to find this page to see that you did it. And unless you add this page to your menu, and we'll go over menuing next week. We'll spend some time on navigation menus next class. I won't be able to find the page because there won't be a link to it unless you put it in your menu. Now, you may have a theme that automatically adds things to your menu, in which case it's already there, but I don't know how your theme is going to deal with it. And by default, generally, new pages aren't added to the menu. So for me to find your page, I need to know the URL. So what is the URL of the page? Well, if I go back to, well, actually, I'm on the page right now. No, I'm not on the page right now. Let me go to back to pages. And I think it's a suggestion. No, it's this one. Okay, I was doing this earlier, so let's get rid of that one. Delete that. Actually, it's a draft. We don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to actually, I could have clicked view there, but I'll view it from here. So I'm gonna take a look at this page. Oops, I didn't want to click on that. Sorry, preview. Actually, that is not the that's not the permalink. Sorry. Actually, that is it. Let's see here. Oh, that looks like the right page. Okay. Actually, go back. Let me go back to my dashboard. Sorry, I'm going to do this a little differently. And you wait for your dashboard to load because your machine is slow or the net connection is slow. There we go. Let's go back to pages. So I think it's this page. I want to view the page. I don't want to view the preview of the page. See, the difference is this is the right URL. That's the permalink. So do not preview the page. Go to the page from the dashboard. So let me make sure you get that. So you go to your pages, you go to the page, which is this one, and you click on view here. That's how you can actually see what the real URL of your page is. If you preview the page from your editor, you get a different URL, and that's not the one that's the real URL, or what's called the permalink. So you view from here, and then you that's your URL right there. See that there? Copy the URL. So that's actually the address of the page. You copy the URL, and then when you go to the feedback form for exercise 5, you paste that where it says URL of this work. Okay.
Ah, perfect. Thank you.
So that's generally what you want to do. Well, that in this case, that's specifically what you want to do, and then fill out the rest of the form. That way, I get an email with a link right to the page. I click on it, and I can go fill out your form and make sure it works. And so that's what I'm asking you to do for this exercise. And as you can see, I did the whole exercise. It's 15 minutes. If you can make the exercise last a lot longer than 15 minutes if you want to embellish the page, if you want to change the form, add fields. I'll leave that up to you. But for the bare minimum, to do the exercise, which is fine, you want to do what I just did. So let me stop there because we're close to the hour mark. Ask for questions. I think I see Debbie hand up.
Yeah, well, this isn't really a question. I just wanted to share quickly, if I can, my troubleshooting method that I used
Oh, yeah.
I figured out why we were having problems with comments, and it kept saying that it suspected you of being a spam bot or something like that.
Oh, good, because that was unusually weird when that happened. So, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I found out that it was the plugin called Mojo Marketplace, and I don't know why, but what I did was I turned off all the plugins, viewed the whole site in a different browser, so I wasn't looking at it with all the administrator icons and all that stuff. And then I went.
So you went here to plugins, right? And you went to install plugins, and then you went and you unchecked them.
I didn't delete anything. I deactivated every plugin.
So basically, you did that. Is that what you did?
Yes, I did.
You can do it all at once.
Actually, before I did that, I took a screenshot of which ones were already activated. So I did, because I had some that were activated and some that weren't.
Right,
so I knew what to reactivate.
Mm-hmm.
And then I deactivated everything, and then I went to a different browser because I thought it was the easiest way to test. And I just tried making comments with no plugins on, and they worked. And I even got an email because I had it set up for somebody who was making comments to that the comment had to be approved.
So it was this Mojo Marketplace, and
so I don't know why, and I even tested it with other things just one by one activated to see if it was conflicting with something I added, and I couldn't figure it out. So now I just left Mojo Marketplace deactivated. Now I can get comments.
That's a really good observation. And that is actually a really good way to troubleshoot. A lot of times when you're having issues, it is because of a plugin. And you can do it the way you did it, where you turn them all off and then turn them on one by one, or you can turn one by one off. And there's different ways you can try to do that. But that's exactly the way that I would approach something like that. Just turn off the plugins. Mm-hmm. Now I should mention that you're the administrator of your site, so you get this dashboard where you can turn off all your plugins, correct?
Yes.
I have seen a case where you're locked out of your own dashboard because of a rogue plugin. I've seen this actually last semester. a student accidentally locked, or the semester before, last semester, accidentally locked herself out of her whole WordPress installation. She had it was some kind of security plugin. It was an anti-spam plugin. It wasn't the Ask-A-Met. It was some other heavy duty anti-spam plugin. And she put on like super armor setting, like, you know, treat everything as spam and, you know, don't let anything in and da-da. And then she couldn't get into her own site. And she actually somehow, I don't know how she did it. She doesn't know how she did it.
Wow.
She locked herself out of her site. She couldn't log in, and she said, "Nope, sorry, you're not getting in," because she tried. Apparently, I guess she tried a few attempts with the wrong password, and then it locked her out completely and wouldn't let her back in. So I was like, and she couldn't get in to turn off the plugin. So because even though it was her account, her installation, her dashboard, the hosting service control panel gives you a master switch. So you should know about this. So I went in to the hosting control panel for all the WordPress installations and turned off all the plugins on her site. And then she could get back in and do the troubleshooting that you just went through.
Wow.
So in some cases, you can go into the hosting control panel, turn off all the plugins that way without logging into your dashboard. That's kind of like a master dashboard for the entire account. And so if you have your own WordPress installation in your own host, like you've got your own domain name and you've got a hosting control panel, then usually that control panel will give you a way to turn off all your WordPress plugins without having to actually log into your dashboard, because this can happen, and you can have a rogue plugin that screws you. So I just want to mention that, and that's the kind of thing that can drive you crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I know you can't make that stuff up. Okay, so that's actually what I wanted to cover. The feedback forms for everything are activated. Sorry they weren't before. Don't worry about the old ones, but for the exercise 5, I do want you to fill out the feedback form because I want to get that URL so I can easily look at your form. Next week we'll go over, we'll get more to detail in final project ideas, and also I want to talk about some other specifics such as navigation menus and adding pages to your menu and what kind of menu widgets and plugins there are. Menuing is definitely one of the things that's usually pretty tied to your theme. Sometimes you have other options, but we'll look at that next week. But any last questions before we end for today?
Oh, what is
Pardon?
The next class is
Monday.
At what time?
What did I set? I think it's
10 a.m.
10 o'clock.
Monday at 10. If that's what I said, that's what it is. Yeah.
And so we can use it.
Monday.
What?
Oh shit. I may have to change the time on that. I'm on the faculty union negotiating team, and they just set up a negotiating session for next week, and sometimes they do Mondays. If I have to change it, I will send out an email to reschedule that time. But right now it's set for 10 a.m. I got to find out when that meeting is. Okay, so I may have to change that, but if I don't send you an email before then, it'll be at 10 a.m. Sorry. I'll send you a reminder email either way with the link. It's going to be the same link, but I'll send you a reminder email either way.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so I just wanted to make sure that we can use what we've been doing so far towards the final project. Any work that we've done so far, we can continue with it for the final project, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
As long as it has a unified topic.
Yes.
Right.
I'm not going to use the word theme because it's sort of.
Yeah, I know. Theme is I usually say topic and design motif to kind of, because WordPress a theme in WordPress lingo as you know, has a specific meaning.
And can that be pretty broad? Like if the whole.
That can be broad. It could be like, it could be this is a sample of all my digital media flyers I've done or whatever. Yes, it could be.
Because I'm finding that I'm kind of, with the other site that I did for a photography class, like this concept of having a blog, but then it gets being more photography than my printmaking. And you know, I'm finding that with being shut in, I'm making paintings instead of prints. So, you know, it might be just general artwork. And whereas my printmaking is all about deep space, my photography and painting isn't.
Yeah, no, that will be broad. If you want it to be broad, that's fine with me. What I don't want is just a miscellaneous collection of pages that don't really make a website. A website or WordPress website, to be a real site, it should have some kind of coherence, something that,
It's going to be a portfolio of
yeah,
my
well,
work.
that portfolio is actually a great site. Yes.
I've got a question.
Yeah, Robin.
I have a WordPress site that's separate from all of this.
Mhm.
And when I go in to edit, like events, calendar stuff,
Mhm.
it puts paragraphs, like huge spaces between sentences and paragraphs, and I have to go take that all out.
Hmm.
And I don't understand why. I mean, I don't do it. I don't do anything. I'm just like putting it in, you know, typing it in.
I'm going to
And then
guess that this is a calendar. Is this a calendar or an event calendar plugin?
No, it's just a page, a section of a page that lists all the events that I do.
Oh, so you're just literally just editing a page and you're
Right.
putting, you know, okay, so we can look at that. I can help you with that. That's an easy one. But I would suggest if a calendar functionality is something you want for your site to do, there are lots of really good calendar plugins.
Okay.
And if you really get a good calendar plugin or calendar widget, they kind of automate a lot of things where, and there are all kinds of features for these calendar plugins. Like you can actually set it up so that other users can add events, that events can send email notices. I mean, there are all kinds of interesting calendar plugins. Calendar plugins are amazing. And so you might actually find it easier to use a simple calendar plugin that makes it easy to just enter your events and they're automatically just put on your calendar plugin page or a widget that sits on another page. So you could start looking at calendar plugins. But if it's just editing a page and the spacing, I can help you with that. That's just styling and that's not too hard. But I would recommend if you're doing a lot of updating of calendar events, a plugin might actually make it easier.
Okay. Okay. It'll change the whole aesthetic of the page if I have a calendar, but we can talk about that down the road.
In the meantime, you might just want to take a look at some of them.
Okay. Okay.
In fact, you might want to experiment with a calendar plugin as part of your final project, so then you get the experience in that to then apply to your other site.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to leave.
Okay, folks. Well, we're going to call it a day, and I will see you on Monday.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
John, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.